Hi, beautiful people. Happy Monday. If you're seeing this today, or happy day if you're not seeing it on Monday. Today I just want to talk about the not enoughness epidemic, which is actually causing and the root behind all disease in the body and in the mind. This not enoughness or not feeling of enough or feeling of, low self-esteem, not mattering, chronic inferiority complex, all these things is a really serious problem that needs to be addressed. We are born feeling we are enough, right? When you're a baby, I saw this with my daughter firsthand that, she's not going to think, oh, mommy's not going to love me if I cry too much. Or, when she's full of food everywhere and, eating and, looks no teeth and no hair. And, the child just said, look at me, mummy, I'm, doing whatever she's doing. So there's absolutely no sense of not enoughness in a baby. It cries whenever it wants. It expects, the world, everybody to jump for them. So there's no sense of not enoughness when you're born, which means we pick up, take on, and are put, it's put into us, conditioned into us as we're growing up by our caretakers unwittingly, and usually is actually given, is kind of passed on from generation to generation, through their, own struggles with not enoughness. This is very, very important to pick up and very important to realize that we're not born that way. So therefore, it's what's called a limiting belief. It's a belief that's installed into your body, your mind, about not feeling worthy, not feeling enough, not feeling, deserving, or that you matter. The problem with these feelings, that I'm talking about, is that it creates a lot of uncertainty and stress and unsafety in the body, and which is why a lot of these people who are prone, and I am a ex not enoughness person. I have worked many years on this issue, and it's something that I personally have overcome. I'll give you an example in a minute, but these people are prone to TMS, or mind body syndrome, because it creates this very, very strong drive and very, very strong, must do, not enough, constantly having to prove, needing to show to other people that they are enough, so that, and this constant fear that people are going to find you out, need to prove. So you work harder, you do things better, you want constant grade, get better grades, or in my case, certifications. And never really being fully happy with what I had, so it creates a lot of internal pressure, internal stress, messages, of chronic unsafety basically in your body. And this internal fear, also with people who have, often have problems with their boundaries, so they just don't feel that they can, or they need to put boundaries. So it's to do with the boundaries, and this reflects, so what we see in the outside world is a reflection of the internal world. So this makes a lot of sense when you start to really, work with the body and the mind and how this all kind of interacts. You understand, and most people don't actually realize that they have this phenomenon of this, not enoughness. Marissa Peer, I think I told you last time, is, she's a top psychologist, and she says it's a worldwide epidemic, and one of the reasons, one of the biggest problems in our society. and it plagues and affects us in so many different ways. But just so you know, in the context of TMS or mind-body syndrome, this is a very, very big kind of driver, or let's say causality to having this TMS. And why is that the case? Because there's this feeling of of not being conditionally lovable. Sorry, not loving yourself unconditionally. So what I mean by that is, when you have when then phrases such as when I fall in love, I will be happy and love myself. When I finish this degree, I will love myself. Or I will, be happy and allow myself to be happy, right? So when then phrases often are a sign of this conditional love to ourselves, which is not true love, really. It's not. You can't have a condition for love. You don't have a condition for loving your child. You just love her unconditionally. She doesn't have to do anything or be anything or be better in any way, and you'll still, to have that love, right? But we often don't have this unconditional love for ourselves. And so in certain, with a lot of my clients that I'm working with, I'm trying to get this, bringing this concept and showing them the, practices and rituals of self-love are paramount for healing. And often these messages, the messages that we're getting of pain carry a wisdom, as I've been talking about, as my program says, the wisdom of pain is, vital so that we can heal, getting to that wisdom. And one of the core wisdoms that pain is actually addressing or alerting us of is the sense or this limiting belief that we're not enough. And so it's actually serving us, it's giving us it's giving us a message that we have this internal dialoguing with self and criticizing and not enoughness, and it's bringing it to light, right? So it's actually something we can say thank you about. And there's limiting beliefs that are no longer serving us for our own growth and personal development. So they need to be addressed, right? And they need to be actually changed, which is part of the process that I take my clients through. And it starts with ourselves. So the internal messages that we generate in our body to ourselves are heard all the time. Our mind never sleeps, and our subconscious mind is always listening. So the biggest way, the best way that we can start to change this not enoughness, non-deserving, non-worthiness, low self-esteem is to start being our biggest cheerleader. So, and we're not actually, again, we're in society, we're not allowed to be our best cheerleader in the sense we're not, we're big-headed and we're, thinking of ourselves, and, this kind of mentality is kind of like a bit altruistic and even narcissist, right? So there is a balance, obviously, and it can, but certainly people with mind-body syndrome, they definitely have a low amount of this cheerleading going on, and so this really has to start with yourself, and looking for it externally just doesn't, as I know firsthand, doesn't compensate. So being your biggest cheerleader, how do we do that? We just start having these strong messages, giving ourselves strong messages that we're doing our best, and all the time. I mean, as much as you can. Whenever I drive in the car, I'm soothing my nervous system. Whenever I'm feeling slightly stressed, I'm always telling myself I did my best, I'm doing my best, I love myself, it's a constant process, right? Because the limiting beliefs, yes, you can overcome them, and I'm going to go into a little bit more about this another time, because it's vital for us to understand. Is a belief our core beliefs and our limiting beliefs make up who we are. We cannot outdo them unless we shine the light of consciousness onto them. And in fact, this is exactly what's happening with chronic pain, is the pain or the disease in the body is shining the light to address this issue. So love yourself wholeheartedly, and start creating messages of cheerleading messages to yourself, to to dispel. It's one of the fastest ways to recover from chronic pain. And if you need more help with that, with more help with this, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm here available for any questions and any help that I can give. Start being your biggest cheerleader from today. Lots of love. See you next time.